Hi, everybody. Welcome. We're on Fridays, tea at the Ritz. Oh, my goodness, the end of the sixth week together. But it's also the beginning of May. So we're into another month. And I guess we need to start reflecting on what that might mean. I wonder where we'll be at the end of this month. Somewhere different, I suspect. But we don't know at the moment. So you're all very welcome. I thought today, because we're at the end of the week, I do like to end the week on a slightly more positive note as we go into the weekend. And I've been musing on all the things that you're never too old to do. I'm very keen on this notion. I think there's quite a lot of prohibitions as we get older, things that are not appropriate for, a woman of your age kind of thing. But I think there are some things that we can still definitely do that we're never going to be too old to do. And as I said, it's a bit of fun, but I want to reflect on that now. So what are you never too old to do? Well, first of all, you're never too old to dance like nobody's watching. I love this idea. The thing about dancing is, what are the prohibitions around it? Well, there's such a thing as dad dancing, which is pretty pathetic. And goodness knows what grand dancing is if it's not ultimately pathetic. But if you dance like nobody's watching, it really means that you're losing yourself in the beat and the rhythm of the music. You're letting yourself go with an expression of pure joy. And every September, when Strictly Come Dancing comes back onto the television, I love it because on a Saturday night, I am to be seen, actually not seen by anyone, strutting my stuff in my living room. And I can tell you now, I do a very mean paso doble, and you should see my Lindy Hop. And as for my Charleston, I give the professionals a very close run for their money when I'm doing that one. And I do it because I can and because I just feel like it's a wonderful way to throw myself around and to experience that sort of really, really pure freedom of movement that you get to a good dance rhythm. So you're never too old to do that. My second you're never too old to do is sing in a choir. I have a great long unscratched itch, which I am going to scratch, I think, quite shortly, and that's to join a choir, to sing with others, to join my voice with others. And I have a real sense that this is a huge uplift for the spirits to do that. The trouble with me is that I was blighted at a very early age by Sister Clotilde. I went to quite a strict convent in Newmarket for school, and we were taught music by an Irish nun called Sister Clotilde. And she, one day in the choir, we were practicing the Alleluia chorus for the parents' evening, when she stopped the whole choir, and she said, "That girl at the back there, shut up! You're putting everybody off." It's like, that was me. And she made me mouth the Alleluia chorus all the way through on Parents' Evening, which did nothing for my confidence. And I don't think I've sung in public with any kind of confidence since. So I'd love to have a go at singing in a choir. I don't think I'd be very good, and I'm sure I don't have a voice, very good voice, but everybody can sing. I say some much better than others, but hey, I'll perhaps join a choir where there are no auditions and you're allowed to sing even though you haven't got the best voice on the planet. But I do think that joining in and singing with gusto has got to be something that I am going to experience, before I'm too old, but then you're never too old. My third thing is about taking risks. You're never too old to keep taking risks. I do think that as we get older, there's a huge tendency or danger that you make your lives as safe as you can possibly get them. It's like you just don't push yourself out there, put yourself on the line, or take any kind of massive risks. And yet, what is life without a little bit of that frisson of thinking, wow, I'd really love to do that. I think the last quite significant risk I took was in my late 50s. I was approaching the time when I knew that I would be more or less retired. And it was a financial gamble that I took, risk, and it was actually quite. If it had gone wrong, it would have been quite serious. But I had basically been watching a lot of Homes Under the Hammer, and I live in a ground floor flat now in Wimbledon. So I was driving along this road. A friend lives in the road, and I saw a sign outside this particular flat that said "for sale by auction," and I just thought, oh, that would be amazing fun to go along to an auction and bid for a property. And then I started to work out the finances. And, if everything worked out okay and I took the risk to buy this property, it could be that it would lead to me being mortgage free as I went into my 60s and I could look at retirement. So I did all my sums, I worked out all the finances, I worked out how I would have to juggle a few things, and I went along for the auction and bid for this flat. So exciting. I can't tell you how exciting it was. I was one of the very few women there. It was a huge room in a big hotel in London, and there were lots of properties for sale. So I waited for this one to come up, and I had a very strict limit that I could go to, and anything over that, absolutely, I would lose it. And I was desperate to buy it. It was this flat was running in damp. It had holes in the floor. It was in the most atrocious state, but I knew that it could be renovated, and I also had a budget for doing that. So the bidding started, and I immediately started, putting my hand up. I'm bidding for this. I mean business. I'm not messing around here. And the gavel fell to me about 10,000 short of my top limit that I could bid for it. So, the excitement, I can't tell you. I was so thrilled. And when the gavel falls, you exchange contracts effectively, and then you have 4 weeks exactly to complete, and I got all my ducks in a row. I managed to complete on time and then get builders in to renovate it. And having done that, I was then able to sell the place that I was living in Chiswick, pay off all outstanding debt that I had in terms of mortgage, and move into this place. And I have loved living here every minute that I've been here. And I suppose, yes, it was risky. I suppose it was sort of calculated risk. But sometimes when you do push yourself out there and take a risk, then, great things and amazing things can come out of that. So I'm very keen, now I'm in my 70s, that I will still keep on putting myself on the line every now and again and take the odd risk because it makes me feel more alive. Number 4, you're never too late to have a secret pash on somebody. This really makes me laugh. When I was 13, I used to have a postcard-sized picture of Richard Chamberlain. Remember him? He was such a heartthrob. He played Dr. Kildare, and I had a postcard-sized picture of him by my bed, stuck on the wall, and I used to say he was the last face I saw when I fell asleep and the first face I saw when I woke up in the morning. So I had lots of dreams about Dr. Kildare. And I still have pashes on gorgeous men, and my latest one is Poldark, Aidan Turner. And one of the highlights of my 70th year, and I had my birthday on Christmas Day when I was 70, and not long after that, there was a premiere of Poldark Series 3, I think it was, at the British Film Institute, the BFI, and my son-in-law's brother works there, so I rang him up and said, Seb, will you get me tickets for the Poldark premiere? I'm just crazy about Aidan Turner. So he said, yeah, sure. So he got me the tickets. I went along, and when I got there, Seb was there with the tickets, and he said, if you're quick, he's up in the members bar upstairs, and you're allowed up there because I've got you special passes. So I tore up these stairs with Anna trailing in my wake, went into the bar, and there was the object of my dreams, standing at the bar having a drink. So I went up and said, excuse me, I'm sorry to interrupt your drink, but could I possibly have a photograph with you? So he said, sure, in his wonderful Irish accent. And Anna took a photograph of us, and it's my screensaver. And every time I open my computer, I've got this gorgeous picture of Aidan Turner with his arm round me. smiling at the camera. So you're never too old to have a pash on somebody. I don't know what my next pash is going to be, but at the moment it's still very much Aidan Turner. And as I said, I get pleasure every time I open my laptop. Number 5, you're never too old to get in shape. My goodness me, this is such a surprise to me that 3 years ago, when I was 69, I decided to do something about my appallingly low levels of fitness. And I was very, very fortunate to meet Lindsay, who's become my personal trainer, and we just do these sessions every week, and I can't tell you the difference. And the thing is that I'm fitter now at 72 than I have been probably my whole life. So it's never too late to get in shape. And the thing is that this is the perfect time to ensure that you've got high levels of fitness. And I hope that during this lockdown, you're not letting yourself go physically, because I know it's difficult, but there's so much that you can do on a daily basis to keep your body moving, and and just make sure you don't seize up. And seizing up is quite difficult, quite easy to do. Believe me, I know that. Number 6, you're never too old to drive with the wind in your hair. A crazy one. I've always loved fast cars. I've always loved driving fast. I passed my test when I was still at school. I was 17, and my mum used to come and pick me up from school. I used to drive home, and I have loved driving ever since, and I still love driving. And when my little granddaughter India was born, she was in hospital a lot. I was looking after her sister, who was 2.5, and I needed a car seat. And at the time, I had a little 2-seater Mercedes that was the love of my life as a car. And I had to say goodbye to it very sadly and buy something sensible that I could have a car seat in. And I really did feel that that was it. I just thought, well, the next time I change my car, I'm going to have to buy probably a much more sedate motor. But when it was time for me to change my car, which was about 3 years ago, I thought, you know what, I'm going to have the last throw of my sporty car dice. So I bought another Mercedes, and I love it. I absolutely love it. I don't break the law, but I do love driving fast in it. The top does come down, and having the wind in my hair as I'm driving along. Often when I'm driving down to France, that's a 12-hour drive for me, which I do on my own every year. And I can't tell you, there's something about it that just makes me feel more alive. And also having that car parked outside my house and at the curb, I come out and again, it just fills me with an absolutely elemental kind of joy to see it sitting there. Number 7, you're never too old to learn something new. You know, there is I think a lot of people believe that their brain cells are sort of dying in their billions the older we get. And that is not totally true. You know, yes, of course, that our brain cells do die as we get older. But there is still loads left, plenty to be working with. And the other thing that has been shown is the incredible plasticity of the brain. In other words, that the brain has the most amazing capacity to adapt to circumstances. And I think that learning something new is the way to keep your brain really alive and functioning well. When I launched Look Fabulous Forever, I suppose I was on, and have been on for the last 6 years, the steepest learning curve of my life. I mean, I have had to learn so much. It's an online e-commerce retail business. There's a huge amount of techie learning that I've had to do. Now, some of it is done by other people, and I will admit that, but even so, I have surprised myself continually. And when we launched the shops, we got a quote for £5,000 for shop design, and I just thought, that's crazy. I'm sure I could design a shop. Anyway, I did quite a lot of research and found out what was what. I went to John Lewis and IKEA, and just made the shops. I think they're quite beautiful. It was simple, but the thing is that I just thought, I can learn that. I can find out and learn about that. So keep open to learning. You're never too old. And my final thing is, you're never too old to wear a red lippy. I still see every time I put a red lipstick on, this is our Monroe red, that it's a small act of defiance and rebellion in a world that says that red lipstick is inappropriate when you're over a certain age. And it's exactly the same attitude as the grand dancing. We're put into this box somehow, and it's like, you're too old to do that, you're too old to do that, you shouldn't be doing that, you're too old, you're too old. And it just makes my blood boil, I can't tell you. So I am going to keep on dancing, sing in a choir, keep taking risks, keep having a secret pash on somebody, keep working my body, drive with the wind in my hair, keep learning, and I'm going to keep wearing my red lippy. And if you don't like it, then that's your problem, get over yourself. So I hope that's given you a little bit of inspiration for the weekend. And, KBO, we don't have too many choices here. It might be the 1st of May, but we're nowhere near things changing, and I think we have to dig even deeper and just keep going. But I've got something really nice here to finish with. It was on Facebook, and I think it sums up my philosophy of life, really. And it's, no matter how you feel, get up, dress up, show up, and never give up. So there you go. I hope that was good and helpful to you. I shall look forward to seeing you on Monday. I've got my date with the Curzon Home Cinema tomorrow at 3 o'clock. I know I can go any other time, but I'm still like going at 3 o'clock on a Saturday. And I'm going to watch a film, I think it's called The Assistant. So I'm looking forward to that. I hope you have a lovely weekend. I think the weather is not set to be particularly nice, but I hope that you can keep positive and upbeat during the weekend, regardless of the weather. And I shall very much look forward to seeing you on Monday when we've got another week together and back in the Ritz for our lovely tea. So I shall look forward to seeing you then and have a lovely weekend. Bye-bye.